Hello guys and welcome back to Barum Engines. Right guys, two things before we get going today. One, we are hopefully getting a phone call from Rich down at RCS Tuning today to get down there and witness this BMW on the rolling road. Now firstly, it'll be the first time that I've been on a rolling road or seen it in person, so yeah. Quite a bit of anticipation about that, quite excited. I suppose a part of the anticipation and the nerves are because we got involved with the engine on this. You know from one of the last videos what the problems were with the cylinder head, something to do with those bolts on the eccentric shaft there. So fingers crossed we've sorted that. The car seems to run okay for the time being. So we're just hoping that we've cured the problem there. Thank you very much for all your comments on the last video, stating what the problem could be with those bolts coming loose. Don't know whether it was anything to do with the oil on the bolts or whatever. It was a bit weird how they put that on the Autodata, but so far so good. So hopefully Rich is going to ring us early part of this afternoon and we can get down there and see what happens. Secondly guys, we're going to jump straight into the thumbnail and title. Don't worry, it's not as serious as it looks, but it is sad times for Barum Engines. Now, I don't know whether all you guys know, but I have been at Barum Engines for just over 20 years now. Like I've said to you before, I worked for my previous boss up to 6 years ago before John and I bought the business and changed it to Barum Engines, where it was Barum Engineering. Dave bought a new van in 2001, whatever V-Reg was, because that's what the van is. But unfortunately, guys, the van is no longer. It almost become a part of the family. It sounds ridiculous because it's a sort of shoddy old Citroen Berlingo van, but we bought that van over, we kept it running, you know, it went through all the MOTs every year with only advisories really, very rarely needed anything to get it through there. So we kept it going. We like the sort of the look of it, the rough look of it. You know, it drove well. The engine was good. It's only just done over 100,000 miles. You know, Dave bought the van probably 5 years, or what was it? Yeah, probably 2-3 years before I started. So it was a brand new van. John and I bought that van off David and bought it over to Barum Engines. So it's a part of the family. But unfortunately, it failed on the MOT miserably. Now, you know, a couple of months ago that we bought the MSRT Transit. To be honest with you, what we need a van for actual everyday running of the business, we potter here, we potter there, we go down to very local jobs. The Transit is not as suitable as we sort of thought. It's great for the look of the business. It's a fantastic van, absolutely love it to bits. And no regrets getting it whatsoever. Obviously it's a big tax benefit buying one of those vans with the second-hand value of them and what have you now. But we have been into tour recently. When you look at the second-hand value, if the values hopefully stay similar to what they are at the moment, it's a no-brainer getting a new van, to be honest with you, one of those. I mean, the van is about 16,000 quid plus the VAT. The VAT you put down deposit, which you obviously get back. At the moment, with the corporation tax you get back, it works out you get a couple of grand back through corporation tax. The van then owes you £14,000. I mean, at the moment, I'm looking at 4-year-old vans, the same as that. They're still about between 10 and 12,000 quid. So potentially, for not much over £200 a month, you've got a bit of a balloon payment at the end, but that van is there potentially cost you £100 a month, probably less than that. So it's worth £25 a week to have the sticker on the side of it, you know, a nice smart van. We're just going to chip in our dividends and buy the van. So it's not all as bad as you think, guys. I don't want you to think that we're just going out buying this, buying that, you know. We have thought about it, we've done the sums, we've had a chat with our accountant, and he said at the moment you're mad not to. So here is the van, guys. I'm not going to go outside because the weather is horrendous at the moment, but there she is. She's in a nice metallic grey, whatever that colour is. It's got the side door, opening. Pretty basic van really, but yeah, looks a lot smarter than the Berlingo, and once we've got our new logo on the side of it, it's going to look really smart running around, so really happy with that. But a very sad week for all of us here at Barum Engines. Rest in peace, van. We miss you. Right guys, as promised, you can see we're here down at RCS Tuning. Rich gave me a shout about lunchtime to say that all's good with the BMW now. I think all the faults are cleared and what have you. There was an ABS issue and something else. But he's about to do a dyno run just to test everything's okay. He's invited me down here to see a car actually on a dyno. I've never actually been in a dyno before, so pretty nervous about that. Just a little recap on what we've done with this. So we had the cylinder head in. For some reason, it burnt out an exhaust valve really weirdly. The car is tuned. It's got all the pop and bangs map and all the rest of it on there. So whether that had anything to do with it, but it burnt a valve out. So we had to service the head, put together all the valve gear, which is, you know, with the nightmare spring setup and that. So I suppose really the cylinder head is a major part of it. So we've been involved with this, you know, quite a bit, and we'd just like to, as I say, just invite you guys down here just to see an engine's like when we've sort of done a part on it or put it back together, and just a bit of a new chapter to our videos really, just to show you these vehicles running and doing what they should do after we've been involved with them. So let's head on in here and see how the boys are getting on. So Rich has talked me into getting in the vehicle here. How fast are we going to be going here, mate?
170, that's all right.
170, yeah. Can't say I'm not a bit nervous, because I am.
Obviously, we're going to do some vlogs on the way up as well, so
yeah.
We'll keep you posted.
Ideal. So Rich said it was dropping off about 6 PSI on the boost from 25 to about 19. So he's just gone and put more octane, and he's going to do another pull. Let's see what it fetches. So Rich, final run then?
It is for today, mate, yeah. Obviously I'm pump fuel only. We're going to add a little bit of octane booster to up the brawn. Yeah, we're just under 550 at the moment now. Well, we're at the 540 mark. Just reset on the faults quickly before we go again. And the plan of action is add methanol and go for 600.
Ideal. So it's pretty consistent today then, you don't mean you've
got Don't forget our dyno cell, unfortunately it's 28 degrees in here.
Yeah.
It should be 16 really.
Yeah, it's fairly warm.
Yeah, it's a very consistent car. So we've got map switching on here as well. So we've got obviously map 1 and map 2.
Okay.
Obviously map 2 is high boost, map 1 is low boost.
And what we've been running, high boost, have we?
Yeah, well we've done a bit of both because we're checking the logs, because obviously since the head's been off we want to make sure that all the timing's okay, because we do believe that we had a Precision Raceworks coils on there.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty confident, because looking back, you know, number 3 is always pulling timing all the time.
Yeah.
Check the plugs, but unfortunately it was at the point where it's too late, and yeah, the plug broke and obviously smashed the valve.
Yeah, and that's what's done the
but
valve.
Now we're checking all the timing again. Across all 6 it's perfect, so it's not pulling any timing.
Okay.
That's on S55 coils now. But
yeah.
Yeah, what we've got to do is just keep checking it, and obviously the customer just wants to keep pushing and pushing.
Yeah, sure.
And we're here to do it for him. So yeah, let's do another run.
Yeah.
well, which is nice.
Yeah.
Doesn't pull any time in on any cylinder.
So what does the car run in low boost then?
About 520.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not a massive difference, you know. On a hot day, you normally see around 500.
Yeah.
But no, it really is an impressive car.
Yeah.
I just can't wait to do more.
Thanks very much for that, Rich. Really
Thanks for
interesting,
coming
mate.
down, Lee. You know, it's nice to see you done the work, and it's nice to show afterwards rewards.
Exactly, yeah, that's the idea really, to sort of show them a bit of the aftermath of once the engine leaves us and what have you.
Got more, I'm going to do some explaining later as well between a Litco turbo and a pure turbo,
okay,
which is interesting, so I'll do a video on that.
Yeah.
And it won't be long till we get your Lamborghini down here.
That's it, mate, can't wait. Right, so there we go, guys. Really nice of Rich to invite us down here. It's warm in there, bear in mind, it's about 26, 27 degrees, and the car made, what, nearly 530 horsepower, 25 psi. It's pretty good to me. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that, guys. I really enjoyed that. Let's get back to the workshop. It's just a little update as to what we've got going on in the workshop and the progress and what have you. So here we've got the Jag block. This is the one that would come in at the beginning of the week. This is the 3.5 litre. John, is this plus 20? What's this at? Plus 20?
It's at plus 20 now.
Yeah.
I've taken that one out to within a couple of thou 30, but you look.
Oh yeah. Bit of a weird mark down there. See, you've gone out to 30 and we've only got 60s.
I've only done that one.
Okay.
But yeah, they've got 30s, they haven't got 40s, they've got 60s. The problem is I can't use a later piston. This is a very early block.
Yeah.
So unfortunately I can't put a later piston in it. They're
no.
different compression height and
Okay,
thing.
no, that's weird, isn't it?
But that's going to be
all of
plus
60,
isn't it?
Yeah, that ain't going to come out at 40 anyway, is it?
No, I don't think it is. So I'm just about to give him a ring and tell him.
Right. So there you go, you heard John. As I say, he's only just tried to do the worst one because they've all got these weird watermarks in there. But this one here has got a bit of corrosion. So he's gone out from 20 to 30 because they do 30s. They don't do 40s, or we haven't got any because this is an early block, like he said. So I wouldn't think that's going to come out at 40 anyway. So we're just going to stick this on the boring bar and take it out to 60. The N55 block, Paul's stripped out the old crank. Unfortunately, all the mains look absolutely perfect. We're obviously going to check that and make sure they're all true, but weirdly, this main bearing here, well, we've got all the old bits down here now, so I'm not sure which one it was, but it was a bit slack in that housing, so he was on the verge of spinning a main and wrecking the block, so we're quite lucky there. Initially we thought he'd only done a big end, but there's the old crank. So what he's going to do now is took the squirters out. He's going to give that a good clean, and we'll give it a blast and a paint and what have you, and get the block back to scratch. We're going to hone out. We've got to hone out a little bit of material out the bores. We haven't got to bore it fully because we've got CP pistons here, new ones with obviously trick rods to go in there. He's got a brand new BMW crank. As I said to you before, not sure where he's got that, but that's going to be astronomically expensive. So yeah, probably going to have to take about 1 thou out of the bores for these pistons, so that should work perfectly. So the Lotus twin cam, as you can see, the block is in a state where we're ready to build it. The crank is in and turns absolutely lovely. What I'm doing at the moment is just dummying up a piston because these acrylite pistons are slightly different crown than the original. They're a high comp piston anyway, but the original pistons have probably about 3 or 4 mil, I haven't measured them properly yet, probably about 3 or 4 mil lower in this area. So we're going to take some of that dome off. We're also about 30 thou proud to the outside here, so we're going to turn some out there and probably get them flush with the block because that's what the originals were. So I've had a chat with the customer, rather than go higher comp, he wants it exactly how it was, so that's what we're going to do. The colour, we've gone for, it's a British racing green, but it's actually a Lotus green, so I really like that. So we've got all the old paint off, etch primered it, and yeah, it's come up really nice, and as I say, I really like that colour. The head was like a weird Massey Ferguson grey, so I'm sure they're not meant to be like that, but that's all going to come off. And I've got some nice sort of bright silver, aluminium silver, to paint that. But where we are with the head, as you see here, we've got all the cam gear. What I'm going to do is I've just put, it's got a double valve spring set up. I've just put a single spring in at the minute. We've lapped in all the valves, haven't skimmed the head yet. Just loosely sort of put it together with the springs, one spring. Put all the cams in, check all the clearances, and then we're going to strip it out again, and we're going to have to take some off the shims. Either that, or if they're too sort of slack, we've got to bring the valve back. So a bit of a lengthy process to do these clearances, but that's the next stage. And once we've done that, I'm going to paint it, face the head, and then that's ready to go back on the block. Paul's back in Monday, so I'm going to get him on this one. I shall hopefully get a couple of the pistons done, if not all of them today. So that's ready for him to sort of put back together on Monday. I've had a good clear up here and organised him nicely. He's going to be happy with that. As I said, we've checked these rods, and the one rod that it did do a big end on, we've got away with that one, so we didn't have to wait. It wasn't the cost, the customer's not bothered about it, but it's the waiting time on a set of rods. We could be looking up potentially about 3 months, which we just haven't got that time. So of course this is in a Lotus Europa race car, so yeah, fortunately we could rescue that rod. Right, so we have heard back from the guys with the Astra VXR engine, and they are not going to have it back. He's tried knocking me down and down. The most he'll go, he wants £300 off. I said, no, we just can't do it. We've done the work, that is it. So he doesn't want that. So all I'm waiting for is an email confirmation that they don't want the engine anymore, and I could potentially have a buyer for that. But if any of you guys want an Astra VXR engine in bits that's had all the machining done, ready to be put back together, there it is. Give us a shout, guys. So yeah, slightly disappointing on that. But what I have done in the meantime is, as you can see behind me, we have various engines. The ones at the front obviously are to be done, and a couple at the back there, but we have got the ones under the cloths that are all done and ready to go back, along with engines on our table and what have you. So what I've done, and this is nothing personal, guys, I've actually took some advice from you lot, but what I've done is I've sent an email out to all our customers saying, listen, because of the times, because of the space, etc., you know, prices going up, all this storage here is costing us. So what I've said is, engines that are invoiced, we're obviously going to give like a week or whatever sort of grace for them to get here and pick them up and what have you. But any jobs that are where the customer has been informed that it's complete and they have been invoiced, we're going to start charging a £25 fee per week for storage of the engine. Because what we're tending to find is, definitely with the classic stuff and the performance stuff, is they're sending them in, we're doing them, they're complete, and they're leaving them here to store while they either get the car done or can be bothered to get down here. And not only are they not paid for, it's not all about the payment. Obviously, you know, we need paying. We've gone through VAT quarters, which we've paid, and all the rest of it, but it's just taking up space, and we need the space, you know. Space is money, and we just need more space, more surface area to get engines stripped and make some money. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. So I've had a couple of people on the phone already this week, and they seem to be all right about it. So it's nothing personal, guys. If you leave it here and want to store it, it's going to cost you. So yeah, needs must. But thanks ever so much for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. Until next week, until another video, we'll see you then. Like and subscribe. Take care, guys.